Hi, my dear students. Myself, Anu Shashidharan, Academic Director and Biology Faculty of Rankings Entrance Training Academy. I welcome all of you in my new video lesson. Today, I am going to talk about Biological Classification Part 2. Do you remember in the last video lesson, we have discussed different types of classification and the history of classification. One of the most important classification we have discussed, that is five kingdom system of classification proposed by R.H. Whittaker. According to five kingdom system of classification, Whittaker classified the whole organisms in nature into five different kingdoms. Do you remember the five different kingdoms? Kingdom Monera, Kingdom Protista, Kingdom Fungi, Kingdom Plantae, and Kingdom Animalia. Now I am going to discuss in detail the characteristic features of Kingdom Monera. You know, Monera is a kingdom that contains unicellular organisms without a nucleus. That means the prokaryotic cell organization such as bacteria. Do you know bacteria are the sole members of this kingdom? Okay, bacterium are one of the most abundant microorganisms in nature. Some of them have a well-developed cell wall like plants. Okay, this group includes bacteria, blue-green algae, and mycoplasma. So first of all, I am going to discuss the structure of a prokaryotic cell. This is actually the diagrammatic representation showing the structure of a bacterium or the structure of a prokaryotic cell. You are very familiar. In prokaryotic cells, they are not having a well-defined nucleus and nuclear membrane. Okay, first of all, you can see this prokaryotic cell is actually having a cell envelope. This outermost portion, we can call it as cell envelope. The cell envelope consisting of three layers. The outermost layer is called a capsule. The second layer is the cell wall, and the innermost layer is the membrane. These three layers together called a cell envelope. So clear? A prokaryotic cell, it's actually having a cell envelope consisting of three layers. The outermost layer is called the capsule, second layer called cell wall, and the innermost layer is the cell membrane. It has the cytoplasm and only one cell organelle. Do you know in prokaryotic cell they are not having all type of membrane bound cell organelle. The only one type of cell organelle present in prokaryotic cell, that is the ribosome. Do you know the function of ribosome? The main function of ribosome is that protein synthesis. Now you can see the centrally placed DNA or the genetic material. You are very familiar. Normally, the DNA present inside the nucleus, especially it has a nuclear membrane. But in this prokaryotic cell, they are not having a well-developed nucleus and a nuclear membrane. The DNA, especially this genomic DNA, is actually scattered in the cytoplasm at the center. This poorly defined nucleus we can collectively call the nucleoid. Is it clear? And this is actually the genomic DNA. And along with this genomic DNA, some other circular DNA present outside this genomic DNA. And this type of DNA are actually circular and self-replicating DNA. This is also called a extrachromosomal DNA. This extrachromosomal self-replicating circular DNA commonly seen in some type of bacterium we can collectively call the plasmid. Is it clear? You can see there are some filamentous extensions from the cell wall. This is actually the filamentous extensions from the cell wall. This is called a flagellum. Okay, the flagellum is actually present in all type of motile bacterium. That means this really help the motility of the bacteria. Again, you can see so many elongated tubular structures arise from the surface of the bacterium. This is called a pili, which really help the bacterium to attach on any substrate. Is it clear? This is actually the structure of a prokaryotic cell or a bacterial cell. And I said kingdom Monera includes bacteria, blue-green algae, and mycoplasma. Dear children, bacteria are grouped into 4 categories based on their shape. Now you can see different types of bacterium, they are having different shape. So based on the shape of the bacterium, it can group it into 4 categories. Look, some type of bacterium, they are spherical in shape. Such bacterium we can collectively call the coccus. Okay, rod-shaped bacteria called bacillus, and some others are having spiral shape. Such bacterium we can call it as spirillum, and some others have coma shape. The coma shaped bacteria we can collectively call the Vibrio. Is it clear? This is actually a classification of bacterium based on their shape. Okay, then we are going to discuss the classification of kingdom Monera. I said the bacterium are the sole members of this kingdom. Okay, the kingdom Monera divided into 2 categories, that is eubacteria and archaebacteria. Do you know what is the difference between eubacteria and archaebacteria? Yes, eubacteria are considered as the true bacteria. Okay, archaebacteria are ancient type of bacterium can be able to survive in some extreme conditions, some harsh conditions. Okay, eubacteria again divided into 2 based on their mode of nutrition, that is heterotrophic bacteria and autotrophic bacteria. You know, heterotrophic bacterium, they can depend on other organisms for their food, but autotrophic bacterium, they can synthesize their food. Autotrophic bacteria again divided into chemoautotroph and photoautotroph. Okay, archaebacteria again divided into halophiles, thermoacidophiles, and methanogens. The detailed characteristic features of all these type of bacterium we are going to discuss in next section. Okay. First of all, what is archaebacteria and the characteristic features of archaebacteria? You know, these bacteria are special since they live in some of the harshest habitats. Okay, such harshest habitat such as extreme salty areas, hot springs, or even marshy areas. Is it clear? Archaebacteria is a type of ancient group of bacteria which are able to live in some harshest habitats, means some extreme conditions. You know, some type of archaebacterium are able to survive or live in extreme salty areas. Such type of archaebacteria are called halophiles. Okay, some others can be able to live in hot springs, means high temperature. Okay, such type of archaebacteria are called thermoacidophiles. Okay, some others are able to live in marshy areas, collectively called methanogens. Archaebacteria differ from other bacteria in having a different cell wall structure, and this feature is responsible for their survival in extreme conditions like salty areas, hot springs, and marshy areas. Is it clear? And you know, the methanogens are actually present in the gut of several ruminant animals such as cows and buffaloes. And they are responsible for the production of methane or biogas from the dung of these animals. This is something about the archaebacteria. Second category, you are very familiar, eubacteria. I said in the beginning, eubacteria are considered as the true bacteria. They are characterized by the presence of a rigid cell wall and flagellum if it is motile. And we have seen the classification of eubacteria. You remember the eubacteria divided into two categories, autotrophic bacteria and heterotrophic bacteria. And we have seen the autotrophic bacteria again divided into two categories. Okay, photoautotrophic and chemoautotrophic. You know, cyanobacteria or blue-green algae is considered as the photoautotrophic eubacteria. So let me say the detailed characteristic features of cyanobacteria. Okay, cyanobacteria, it's also called a blue-green algae. Okay, cyanobacteria have chlorophyll A similar to green plants. Okay, cyanobacteria are photosynthetic autotrophs. What is the meaning? They can synthesize their food in the presence of sunlight, okay, just like that of green plants. They were the first organisms that produced oxygen on our earth. The cyanobacteria are unicellular, colonial, or filamentous. Okay, this is actually one of the filamentous cyanobacteria or filamentous blue-green algae. It is called a nostoc. Look, the structure of nostoc, it's actually having so many cells are arranged just like that of beads in a chain. And some of the cells, they're having some speciality. See, this type of cells we can collectively call the heterocyst, which plays an important role in nitrogen fixation. Is it clear? That means some type of cyanobacteria like nostoc can be able to fix the atmospheric nitrogen with the help of specialized cells called heterocysts. Another important characteristic feature of cyanobacteria, it forms blooms in polluted water bodies. Do you know what is the meaning of blooms or algal blooms? This is actually the diagrammatic representation of algal blooms. It means this is actually the rapid increase or the accumulation in the population of algae or cyanobacteria in the water body. Look, this water body is actually covered with the algae, okay, or cyanobacteria. This rapid accumulation of cyanobacteria or algae, blue-green algae, we can collectively call the algal blooms. This is actually occur because of the nutrient enrichment in the water bodies. Okay, this may cause the pollution in water body. Apart from pollution, this type of algal bloom, which is very dangerous to the water body. As you know, this algae consume large amount of oxygen for their respiration as well as their decomposition. As a result, what happens? The resident organisms like fishes, they are not getting sufficient oxygen. So the algal blooms, it may cause pollution in water bodies. This is actually the characteristic features of cyanobacteria. Second category is called chemosynthetic autotrophs. I said these bacteria oxidize various inorganic substances such as nitrates, nitrites, and ammonia and use the released energy for their ATP production. So, you know, this type of chemosynthetic bacterium, they can obtain their energy from some chemical reactions, especially the oxidation of nitrates, nitrites, and ammonia. One of the most important example for chemosynthetic autotroph, that is nitrifying bacteria. Did you hear about nitrifying bacteria? This type of bacterium that may cause the oxidation of nitrates, nitrites, or ammonia. Okay, the better examples are Nitrosomonas and Nitrobacter. The second category of eubacteria are heterotrophic bacteria. Do you know what is the meaning of heterotrophic bacteria? They are not able to synthesize their food and they can depend on other organisms for their food. Okay, this heterotrophic bacteria, they are the most abundant in nature. The majority of heterotrophic bacteria are the important decomposers in nature. And some of the heterotrophic bacteria are pathogens. At the same time, some of them are helpful for the production of curds, antibiotics, and also nitrogen fixation. Now, I'm discussing about some examples related to pathogenic bacteria. I said some heterotrophic bacteria are pathogens. Okay, did you hear about the diseases like cholera, typhoid, and tetanus? All these are bacterial diseases. Okay, Vibrio cholerae, it's actually causing the disease called cholera. Typhoid caused by Salmonella typhi, and tetanus caused by Clostridium tetani. And I said some of the heterotrophic bacteria are very useful to humans. Okay, some bacteria like lactobacillus help us for making the curd from the milk. Do you know the chemical reaction occur over here? Lactobacillus convert the lactose into lactic acid. Okay, and some type of soil bacteria using for the production of antibiotics. Some important antibiotics obtained from the bacteria are streptomycin and tetracycline. And you are very familiar, some type of bacteria are present in the root of leguminous plants, which plays an important role in nitrogen fixation. One of the most important example you might hear in lower classes, it is called rhizopia. Okay, this is something about the characteristic features of archaebacteria and eubacteria. Now, let me say something about the reproduction in bacteria. Okay, dear children, bacteria reproduce mainly by asexual methods. One of the most important asexual method of reproduction in bacteria, it is called binary fission. Look, this is actually the diagrammatic representation showing the process of binary fission. In binary fission, a single bacterium divided into two daughter bacteria. Dear children, this type of asexual reproduction can occur during favorable condition. During favorable condition, what happens? The genetic material of bacteria, it undergoes, replicates and becomes doubled. As a result, the nuclear material, I mean the genetic material, the DNA divided into two. See, here you can see the DNA separation, that means the division of genetic material. Again, the septa formation occur, that means the cell wall formation occur. As a result, the cytoplasm should be divided. Okay, we can see now two bacteria, I mean two daughter cells are developed. Okay, whenever the process becomes over, it should be detached. As a result, two daughter cells are formed. This is one of the most important or common type of asexual reproduction in bacteria during favorable condition. Dear children, during unfavorable condition, bacteria showing another important process, that is endospore formation. This is actually a mechanism to overcome the unfavorable condition. During unfavorable condition, the bacteria, it's actually covered by means of a thick wall. Now, this is called endospore. Do you know the characteristic feature of this endospore? The endospore can be able to survive many years. Okay, whenever they will again get the favorable condition, this endospore should be converted into a vegetative cell or a new bacteria. Okay, then another important thing, the most important thing, there is no sexual reproduction in bacteria. Means there is no well-developed sexual reproduction in bacteria. But some bacteria reproduce by a sort of sexual reproduction, adopting a primitive type of DNA transfer from one bacterium to other bacterium. Okay, that means some type of primitive type of sexual reproduction can be seen in bacteria. Okay, there is no well-developed sexual reproduction. Okay, some type of primitive DNA transfer may be there. Okay, one of the most important type of reproduction, we can call it as conjugation. It's a primitive type of DNA transfer from one bacterium to another bacterium. The detailed aspect of conjugation you will learn in higher classes. Okay, I have to discuss one more thing, that is mycoplasma. Another important organism come under the category of kingdom Monera according to five kingdom system of classification. Let me say the characteristic features of mycoplasma. You know, mycoplasma also called a PPLO. It means pleuropneumonia-like organisms. Okay, structurally it's actually same as that of bacterial cell. You can see it's actually having a three-layered cellular membrane. Okay, some soluble proteins are there, cytoplasm, only one cell organelle, ribosome, DNA, and certain soluble RNA. Dear children, this is the smallest living cells known which lack a cell wall. The most important characteristic feature, this type of organisms can be able to survive without oxygen. That means they can survive in anaerobic situations. Mycoplasma, first of all, identified by two scientists, Knockaert and Rox. Okay, mycoplasma also act as pathogenic in plants and animals. It means they can cause different diseases in plants and animals. Dear children, this is something about the detailed characteristic features of kingdom Monera. I hope you have understood all these concepts or all the characteristic features of kingdom Monera. So in the next video lesson, I will come back with the characteristic features of kingdom Protista. Okay, thank you all. Have a nice day.